Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at tonight's post-match press conference, joined by Austin FC head coach Nico Estévez. You all know the drill. Please limit yourself to 2 questions per person on the first go-round, and then we'll come back around as we have more time. Laura, yours was the first hand up, so we'll start off with you.
Buenas noches, profe Nico. En la conferencia pasada, usted mencionó un poco de forma sarcástica que todos los que habían preguntado por el Super LAFC son y Buanga, y justamente hoy Buanga termina marcando 2 goles aquí en el Q2. ¿Cómo analiza su rendimiento y el impacto que tuvo el rival en este resultado de esta noche?
Bueno, lo primero es dar la enhorabuena al FC porque ha sido mejor que nosotros en la serie y bueno, desearles lo mejor para lo que viene. Lo segundo es que el miedo que yo tenía hoy es lo que ocurrió después de la rueda de prensa del otro día, cuando todo el mundo decía que teníamos que ser más agresivos, ir al ataque y todas esas cosas, ¿no? Sin conocer la realidad de que jugamos contra el mejor equipo de la liga en contraataque, con los 2 mejores jugadores de la liga en contraataque. Nuestros jugadores se han contagiado de esa emoción, de ese mensaje, en lugar de ser disciplinados como fuimos allí. Y eso es lo que nos ha hecho perder hoy. El no tener la disciplina suficiente y la humildad suficiente de saber que estamos jugando contra un super equipo, como ya dije el otro día, porque es un super equipo. Y no lo dije de manera sarcástica, lo dije de manera en que nosotros, que nadie contaba con nosotros, pudimos plantear un muy buen partido allí. Pero fue desde el plan, fue desde el saber nuestras fortalezas y nuestras debilidades y sabiendo las fortalezas y debilidades del rival. Entonces, si no somos capaces de dar un paso atrás y ser humildes, y cuando estemos en posición por haber ganado cosas, poder dar ese paso adelante, entonces vamos a estar siempre creyendo que somos algo que no somos. Y tenemos que ser conscientes de quiénes somos y que poco a poco vamos a construir hacia donde queremos ir, ¿no? Pero creo que hoy nos faltó eso, nos faltó humildad de saber a quién nos enfrentábamos y es mi responsabilidad el hacérselo llegar a los jugadores, por lo tanto, el resultado de esta serie es responsabilidad mía.
Recientemente usted dijo que consideraba que la temporada había sido excelente. Sin embargo, el equipo ha perdido 6 de los últimos 7 encuentros. ¿Sigue pensando lo mismo o usted ha cambiado su evaluación?
Bueno, yo no sé si utilicé la palabra excelente o es alguien que está utilizando esa palabra por parte mía, porque yo no recuerdo haber usado esa palabra en concreto. Yo dije que los objetivos de la temporada era primero clasificar para playoff y hacer una buena Open Cup, ¿no? En la Open Cup llegamos a la final, hemos clasificado para los playoffs de manera directa después de que el equipo no se clasificara en 2 años. Me parecía que era una temporada en la que todos nos podíamos sentir bien, siempre queriendo más, pero es verdad que, como tú dices, el haber estado jugando la Copa hasta el final nos ha hecho perder partidos que no nos hubiese gustado. Si hubiésemos ganado esos partidos, a lo mejor hubiésemos acabado en otra posición y no nos hubiésemos enfrentado a LAFC, ¿no? Por lo tanto, una de las cosas que tenemos que aprender para el año que viene es que los puntos son importantes, porque dictan dónde vas a estar en la clasificación, si vas a tener a favor o en contra el factor campo y el rival al que te vas a enfrentar. Por lo tanto, pese a que todos los equipos son buenos, todos sabemos que el FC es el mejor equipo del oeste, ¿no? Aunque la clasificación diga que San Diego y Vancouver han estado por delante, a nivel de presupuesto, a nivel de jugadores, con la incorporación de Son esta última, son los mejores. Por lo tanto, nos hemos enfrentado al mejor equipo del oeste. Y porque pues bueno, hemos estado también ocupados con la Copa y no hemos sabido cómo manejar esa situación. A partir de ahí, no estamos contentos con el resultado, para nada. Queríamos más, sentíamos que podíamos dar más, pero hoy no hemos estado al nivel que se requería y por lo tanto no podemos seguir. A partir de ahí, yo creo que las cosas se valoran mejor en frío. que en ahora caliente. Ahora mismo estamos muy cabreados y diríamos que todo es una mierda y que la temporada es una mierda, pero hay que ser fríos cuando acabe y ver qué cosas buenas hemos conseguido y qué otras cosas nos hacen falta por mejorar, ¿no? Y para hacerlo mejor el año que viene. Para mí la vida y el deporte es eso. Aprendes de las experiencias que tienes, de las victorias, de las derrotas, para poder seguir evolucionando, para poder seguir creciendo. Y eso es lo que tenemos que hacer como club, porque ahora mismo estamos por detrás de LFC, por lo menos.
Phil?
Yeah, so what is it about this season and the way the team has progressed that you think you can build on? What does this year do as a foundation into next season?
Well, I think there is a lot of things that we can build into, but also a lot of things that we have to learn in order that don't happen again. You know, I think our learning experience on losing some games at the end of the season because we were playing the Open Cup and we lost a little bit our focus there. It made us to be in a position that had to play against LFC, right? Then we know you don't want to play against LFC, right? Because they are the best team in the West. Then these are the things that we have to also learn, that every game is important. And I think at the end of the season, we let it a little bit go because of the Open Cup and didn't allow us also to be better in these games. I think we had a good game there. I think in this game, what we can learn from this game, it's we need to know who we are and be humble. And even though that we want to do things that everyone wants to do, me first, we are not ready to do it. And LFC, even though that they're a big club that has won things, they're humble enough to come here and sit and wait for a counterattack and wait for the mistakes of the opponent and not put themselves in risky situations. As we lost our discipline, we lost our control with the ball, and our positioning. We had both fullbacks high, then we let them do a 1v1 situation with the two best players in transition on the league, something that we didn't concede when we played there, because we were disciplined, we were humble. But here, I think we lost a little bit that, and we need to build into where everyone wants to be, little by little. And we show today that we are not ready for that. Then next year we have to improve on that. The things that I like, I saw a team that is brave, even playing against LFC in both games, trying to have the ball, trying to attack in the way that you have to attack LAFC. I think today we create 2 PKs, and you create 2 PKs because you are in the opponent box. We create more corner kicks, more set pieces. If Hader scores if Emirito scores the PK, if Hader scores the chance that he had, the one that they took, the goal disallowed, he could change the game. Although we weren't good today, and it's my responsibility, as I said to the guys, it's my responsibility to be very strong on how disciplined we have to be in the game, and it's my responsibility that everyone performs at the best level, and we couldn't get that today. Yeah. And then it's something that we have to learn. Also, it's a pattern this season. Every time we have a game in a 3-4 days period, we're not able to sustain the level mentally, technically, and physically. And it's something that we have to be better for next season.
So what was the mindset thinking about the offense? I mean, you were talking about creating the PKs and set pieces and all that, but obviously Bukari, I imagine the ankle didn't allow him to play, so that changes what you do offensively, and just curious about that aspect.
Well, I mean, I heard like when we play LFC here and we won that everyone was saying like Boanga and somewhere in here. We didn't have Brandon, we didn't have Bukari. And I don't hear much that, and it's like, it could be similar, right? And you don't have 2 other DPs. It's normal that the team could have issues playing against a team that has every top player available. The idea was very similar plan as we had the other day, but the only thing having in the weak side players ready for the cross. Then what we're trying to do is just to move the ball one side to the other, and when we had the chance, time on the ball for the player, just cross it, because they had some issues on that the last time that we played against them, and we knew that they could have. The issue has been that we were rushing a little bit, and then this created a lot of losing balls when we were in position for the transition. We were rushing some players to go forward for the cross, and it wasn't very connected there, or control, more control. And this is what it turned into against us a little bit. And we have to learn from that. I think we got more aggression, but we also got more an issue on the transition.
Colby?
How big is the turning point when Mirto can't convert the penalty in the first half?
I mean, we saw in Chicago yesterday game, right? They were also losing. They had a PK. They missed. I think we also were, mentally strong to come back and have another chance and score. And I think if we score the second goal, I truly believe that is something that I said at halftime, that we could go to PKs. Anything can happen. Maybe we could score the fourth, but I thought that if scoring the two, at least we get into the PKs. And this is what we missed. We missed the second. I think we had opportunities to do it, but we didn't do well.
And on their counterattacks, I guess, one, would you have liked to see Brad stay home on one? And then what were the mistakes on those?
Well, I think I have to see again, but for sure, in both, our fullbacks were too high. I think in the first one, Mikel was wide on the right and Vito was in the box, and then it was a 2v2 against Boanga and Son. I think in the second one, Mikel lost the ball and was on the floor, and then Vito was in the box, and it was another situation. I think what I want on Brad on those situations is be in a good position to either, if he can reach it, clear the ball and win the ball, or if not, just let the opponent come until one of the defenders can catch him.
Eric?
Hi, Coach. LAFC started the match with 3 up top instead of 2, like in the previous match. Did that surprise you, and did you think that impacted how the match went?
No, I think we knew that they could make some adjustments there. Also, they put Giles on that he can play center back and central midfielder. Then we knew they could go either that or 4-3-3. And we were ready for that. I think it was more for us like our lack of discipline on our positioning while attacking.
Thank you. And then you had the triple sub change at halftime. Kind of what were you trying to change about the match with that?
Well, it's something similar as we did there. What I like to have in these games is always to have a plan if we need a goal or we're losing or we're winning and the opponent is change the shape. We were expecting if LFC were losing, go to a 4-3-3, and we had a plan ready. The one that we did is more to build with 3 and 1, having Julio, Vito, and Brendan, and Danny, in this case Ilya, that was there. Then Danny and Owen in the pockets. Then have 2 wing-backs with Kolmanic and Dessler, and then 2 targets on the box. Then also the weak side attacking midfielder and the weak side winger will join in the box. Then to have more presence in the box. And I think for moments it helped us to create a dangerous plays and to have some opportunities. But as you don't get the goal, it kind of like it's more difficult. And then any mistake that you make, it could translate in a transition for the opponent.
Hernan?
Coach, there were positive changes from 2023 and 2024. However, this season, there was a difficult defeat in the Open Cup final here at home. Playoffs also, there was a difficult night, obviously today here at home. What kind of message do you have for the fans going into next year that are leaving Q2 Stadium tonight with maybe, bad image of how the season ended for them?
Well, I think this is another thing that we have to do better. I think you have to at least win between 10, 12 games at home, and we didn't do that. It's what I think is a good reference between to have a good season. I think because we were getting points away, we didn't need that, but we want to be stronger at home. It's also, if you go back to some other seasons, it has happened in the Q2, but it's something that we need to improve. We need to be better at home. I think the final was a little bit different than today. I think the final we compete much better, and it was unlucky that we couldn't get a better result. At least in the first half, we created the most chances in the game. But today, I think the thing today is like it showed us what we need to be better for next season.
Also, Coach, in Game 1, Austin FC had a better second half than the first. I believe in Game 2, Austin FC, even though they were down 3-0 at one point, they came back for 3-1. In the second half, there were chances. How much of a difficulty for you was it not having Rubio for both of these games?
I mean, all the qualities, players like Brandon, Bukhari, Rubio. We're talking about three players that have ton of quality that we didn't have today. And I don't like to put excuses. Something that, the season and the rosters are built to compete, and the center happened to others. In order to have a good run in the playoff, you need your best players on the field, and this is clear. And we were unlucky not to have those players.
Alistair?
Good evening, Coach. After those 2 goals in the first half, that were pretty quick succession. What were you trying to tell your team and players like in the middle of the half to just try and get them to the end of the half without conceding more?
In the halftime or in the middle of the?
Yeah, in the middle
half?
of the game specifically. Were you trying to tell them anything?
Yeah, I talked with 2 players, and I adjust their position.
And to end the season, kind of what is your specific message to the players to try to get them over this loss and into the next season?
Well, I think, and this is something that I said before, sports is about how do you respond, and the thing is like you in this country have big examples of that, how many times, Michael Jordan tried to win the NBA and he couldn't, like 3 years in a row, I guess, and then after he was able, and Kobe in the Lakers, similar in other examples, and it's like we need to learn from that. It's not like one day is you're gonna change from not making the playoff to win it. It's difficult. You need to make the things in the right way, make the right decisions, have these experiences. These experiences help more than anything else, because some other experiences is kind of a lie a little bit and hide some things. Things like today and the other day, it will help us to make the right decisions moving forward.
One.
Coach, what are some of the areas that you see need the most improvement, or that you'd like to work on to improve on from this year going into next year?
Well, I think one thing that is clear is I like the way that we can control the games with the ball. What I don't like is that we are not able sometimes to be as aggressive as I would like. It's how you combine that control with being vertical, and it's something that we're gonna have to find ways to do it. We have now time to prepare ourselves. We have the whole preseason to prepare ourselves, and how we can be a team that can control the game, but also can be a more dangerous type of team, in the offensive side. On the defensive side, today is difficult because, to be honest, it was everything in transition that I linked that more in the offensive. Because while you are attacking, you have to be prepared to avoid those moments. And but I think when we are compact and build pressure, I think we are successful. The issue today was more how we control those transition moments, and it's like sometimes until you don't have these experiences, you don't realize how good you have to be and how disciplined you have to be, because this team can kill you, as we had today.
And also looking ahead at next season, what do you want your players to take from this year, and what's your messaging to the locker room that will kind of help them build towards your goals for next year in those areas?
Well, I think we are all disappointed. I think I take the full responsibility of this series, and for the players, I feel proud about the effort that they put since day one. The work that they did. We had a really crowded season on the schedule, and we were there. We were battling for 2 competitions, but we fell short here. And then it's now how we can push ourselves, having these experiences, and how important are some points that we didn't get at the beginning or at the end to make a better final part of the season.
Nico, did you feel like you were able to develop an identity for this club on the pitch that, based on what you wanted, do you feel like you were able to find something consistent that did work, or was it constantly, trying to experiment and eventually, and seeing what was working best?
Well, I think we built an identity. Then Brandon got injured, and then we built an identity, and Rubio got injured, and then you always want to build an identity. I think what we saw in the game against LFC there, what we saw against Nashville, mostly the first half, is something that we have to build on. Then now it's about how we improve in certain areas that can help us to win difficult games, tough games, and beat good teams, and away and at home. But I think we have a foundation on how we want to play and how we want to build. And it doesn't matter about if we play with 5 or we play with 4. It's more about concepts, about principles, about who do we want to be. And I think since June, we built towards an identity that help us to go. It doesn't mean that in certain games we had to adapt to the way that, like Minnesota, right, is they have a very specific way that they play, and we had to adapt to the way that they play when we play away. It doesn't mean that we can be able to have those situations that in a particular situation, maybe we change something, but we don't want to change our idea.
And then after Mirto missed the penalty against Nashville, were there any conversations on making a change and the penalty taker? And what is that process generally on deciding who takes the penalties?
Well, I think usually our takers are Brandon Vasquez, Mirto, Diego, Buca, and no one was there. And I think Mirto felt the responsibility to take the penalty. And I have to talk with him, but I felt like he was more afraid to miss than to, thinking positive to score. And this is why he shot the way that he shot. It's not normal for him to take a shot like that. And this is that sometimes that we it's difficult to the pressure, his position in the team, and how to help the team, and how to carry and help the team to. And then sometimes, it doesn't go in your way. I'm glad that Danny took the initiative to take the penalty, and and he converted, and now we have to work with everyone about that.
All right, we're up there. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for